Hello everyone, just a very quick video. Well, I'm very moist, very moist. Whew. It's hard work demonstrating vintage vacuum cleaners, which is what I've just been doing on my main channel. Got to keep the old vacuum fans happy, so I've just chucked a load of muck down on this carpet and picked it up with this vintage Hoover, vintage-ish, sort of it's a late 70s, early 80s model. Obviously, if you don't know my other channel, you won't know that I'm a vacuum obsessive. You probably know, though, from this channel that I'm a little bit loop the loop, as they say. But I thought, well, I better make a quick video, he says. Quick, for me, is probably under an hour. But I thought I'd check in with you and just say that, yeah, I'm still here. But last week we were supposed to be going away inside Karen. Well, no, we were going to tow Karen with Kevin. And we were going to have a lovely little break in Whitby, but obviously, with things the way they are, we can't go to Whitby. And it looks like our next holiday, scheduled for June in Northumbria, also in the caravan, doesn't look like that'll be happening either. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we will get the Whitby holiday in September, because we've rebooked for September now. So that might be the second holiday we get this year. I will at some point try and get the other video that I made in the Peak District just before lockdown. I'll get that up on this channel as soon as I can. But last week, because we should have been away, obviously we were both off work together. So, you know, I'm not saying anything against my partner, and I'm like this with everyone. I can't get on with things when there's somebody else in the house, and I've always been like it. I used to do a lot of decorating when I used to live with my mum and dad, but I reserved jobs like that for when they were on holiday, and they tended to go on holiday in June. For some reason it was always around my birthday, so I've spent my birthdays, even my 18th and 21st, all on my own, sad that I am. So it's a sort of tradition now that I spend birthdays on my own, and I'd be quite upset to have a birthday with loads of people around me. So yeah, they used to go away on holiday when my dad was well enough to go on holiday, and I used to do things around the house, including decorating. I just couldn't get on with stuff, and it's been like that this week. I've not been able to get on with anything. I've pottered. Mark has decorated his bedroom, and I've spent a lot of the week asleep. I don't feel ill, I've just had no energy. I've still got a bit of a cough, but you're very wary at the moment. If you get a cough of any sort, you're thinking, oh heck, have I got the dreaded lurgy? But as I've said to you before, I think I've had it, and I do cough still. Every day I'm coughing. I tend to have a bit of a cough in the morning and maybe one or two coughs during the day, but that's it. So I feel well in myself. But yeah, today's the first day. I've still got 4 more days of my holiday. Mark's gone back to work, so I've started filming videos for my other channel, because I can't really do much filming when Mark is in, because the slightest noise he makes, it picks up on the microphone, and I'm getting angry, so, and shouting, stay still, stay on. Sometimes if I'm awful. Sometimes if I have to finish a video, often I'm making a video, and then just at the bit I'm about to finish, Mark comes home. So I say to him, right, take Molly out for a walk, or go upstairs and lie on your bed for 10 minutes and don't move while I finish this video. And he does, to be fair. He dutifully goes upstairs and finishes, you know, just lies down until I'm ready, and then I say, right, you can come down now. So I prefer, to be honest, to do things like this when the house is empty. So I've just made a video which hopefully will keep my other viewers happy, but I've got an awful lot to do. And we've had the announcement from Boris. This is Monday. We had the announcement on the TV from Boris. Nothing much has been said that's new. We're allowed to go out for more than one exercise period a day. But I mean, to be honest, if I want to go out more than once, I'll go out more than once. And my mum, I know, sometimes takes her dogs out twice, but where she lives, she can go. She'll probably see some people on the walk, but they're far apart. I've been on walks with her, the walks she does, and it's easy to stay apart from people. But they're relaxing a bit in the UK. You are allowed to actually go out to a park and sit on a bench now. You are allowed to do a bit of sunbathing. And some of you may or may not know, vitamin D is supposed to be it's good for you anyway. And in climates like the UK, certainly in the winter months, we don't get much vitamin D. And the best source of vitamin D is from sunlight. So I've been going out. Unfortunately, we've had lovely, lovely weather recently. It's turned a bit colder today, but I did manage to sit out at breakfast time for 10 minutes, enjoying the sun on my face. I rolled up my sleeves and got the sun. So if you want to boost your vitamin D, apparently all you need is about 15 minutes, if you're fair-skinned, is 15 minutes in the sun with no sunblock on. Don't put any of that, I won't say a rude word, but I've got my own views on that stuff. Don't put any of that on. Sit in the sun as naked as you were born if you want to, if your neighbours don't mind. Sit for 15 minutes. If you're very fair, especially if you've got red hair and freckles, obviously you'll know that you can't stay out in the sun too long, but 10 minutes might be okay for you. But they're saying about 15 to 20 minutes in the sun without any sunblock on is enough to produce the vitamin D you need for that day. So that's what I've been trying to do. Vitamin D, there's studies apparently, and I have to be careful what I say because this subject gets a load of people upset, and you know, I'm just saying what I think. What you think is up to you. As I've said many times before, I don't have any influence over anyone, even the people I live with, so I don't expect to have any influence over you. I'm just saying what I do. But yeah, but I've seen on the TV today as well, I've seen it before, that vitamin D does help with flu and colds and viruses. And that is why apparently we get flu season and cold season, and they tend, where we live, they tend to be in the winter months when we don't get a lot of sun. So you go out and enjoy that sun when you can, wherever you live. If there's any sun and you can sit outside, if it's on a balcony, on a park bench, just try and get 15 to 20 minutes of sun with no block on, even on your face, but as much, I'm not saying strip off, but if you can put a t-shirt on, as much of your skin exposed to the sun will do you good, and it might help to boost your vitamin D, which could help either make you a bit better if you've got the flu or corona, whatever. So that's what I've been doing every day when I can get out, which has been most days, to be honest. We've had lovely weather, which is surprising, and we've had different skies. We've not seen, I live within a flight path of Leeds Bradford Airport. I do see, they fly very high, and you don't see so many. And then that's another subject, whether you believe they're comtrails or chemtrails. But I do notice, this is from my own observation, that it can be a perfectly blue sky in the morning, and I see planes going over, leaving those trails, whatever they are, and I know that within an hour, that lovely blue sky has gone all hazy and obliterated the sun. So, you know, I'm not getting into that subject. I'm just a channel where I just chat and do. I don't try to be controversial. Obviously, sometimes I am controversial with what I say, but I don't try and be. I don't want that trolling that being a controversial channel gets, because I do watch quite a lot of very controversial things, and people who do those, who present these different ideas, must have very thick skins, because I couldn't cope with it. All I say to people who watch me is, you make your own mind up, because I'm not here to persuade you to do anything. I'm just here chatting, and obviously some people just like to hear someone chatting, especially now if you're living on your own and having to, you know, keep in your house, as we're being told we have to. So I'm coping with it because nothing's changed. I'm going to work with no PPE equipment. I don't work in NHS, but there's no cleaning equipment extra. There's no masks provided. There's really very little social distancing. So I'm going to work as normal, slightly earlier than I used to, and I don't have to see customers at the moment, which is a good thing because that's less. But I'm still exposed to a lot of colleagues, and there's even colleagues coughing at work. and I've heard sneezing. Now you think, well, it could be hay fever, but so it's not affected me that way. I'm still doing my job. Mark's still doing his job. The only thing it's affected, well, the two main things, and the most important thing, is the fact I can't see my mum. So that's the worst thing to me, and I know my mum's finding it difficult, you know. So that's the worst thing. And the second worst thing is things that get delivered take a bit longer. I mean, I'm very lucky. They're the two things that bother me the most. Obviously, main concern is not being able to see my mum, not physically anyway, and just not being able to get things delivered as quick, and not being able to just order stuff in, you know. And you'll notice I do a lot of online shopping, and they're not, some shops may be putting prices up, but what shops are mainly doing, they're not putting offers on. If you look at your supermarket, there's not as many offers on. Even Amazon, when you look in their lightning deals, you click on the top of Amazon, you can see their lightning deals and their deals of the day thing. There's hardly anything in it in the sections I look at. Because online retailers are thinking, right, well, we've got a captive audience here. We've got a much bigger audience for online sales. So we won't give them so many offers because they're going to buy it anyway. And obviously what's going to happen, I think, when the shops are able to open again, there's going to be a lot of unsold stock. I'm talking about bricks and mortar stores mainly, and especially those stores that don't have an online presence. So there's going to be bargains galore for the people that want to go out and get them. I think that's what's going to happen. But I also think the high street in the UK is already dying, and I'm sure in other countries bricks and mortar stores are closing down left, right and centre, even before this palaver that's going on at the moment. And I think this is just another nail in the coffin for high street stores, because even when they start opening the stores again and people are having to queue, do the social distancing, all that, people are going to think, right, I'm not going to wait outside this shop to get what I want. I can't be bothered queuing up. I'm just going to order it online. So you'll find more and more shops, I think, are going to go. Some very famous names. I think Debenhams is teetering on the brink of going. It's a department store in the UK, if you're not familiar. That's teetering on the brink. It was before, but I think, you know, so only the big names. Amazon are a winner, obviously, and people who can do online. Even the online stores I would shop at, they've been restricting the number of people that shop so their pickers can maintain a distance. So, for example, I managed to get an order into Lakeland Limited. If you don't know, they're a company who started off in the Lake District, and they make all sorts of things for the home: baking, kitchen electricals, cleaning products, gadgets, that sort of thing. And when you go into a Lakeland store, unless you're pretty old, you might find you're the youngest person there. It tends to attract an elderly clientele, if you know what I mean, who are retired and they've got time to do all the baking. Obviously now a lot of people have got more time to do baking and making crafts and doing all sorts of things, whether they're doing that or not, or whether they're just sitting in front of Netflix drinking wine and eating. I'm sure that's happening with a lot of folk. But yeah, I managed to get an order in for a few bits I wanted from Lakeland. Most of the time I'd logged on, it said we've had our orders for today. We've had our orders, you must obey. No, we've had the quota, come back tomorrow. So I managed to get a few bits. The same with Next and other stores. But Amazon, apart from it taking a bit longer and stuff I've bought on eBay, stuff's still coming. And I don't think there's any panic buying. I don't see any evidence of that in my job, people bulk buying stuff. And although there are still gaps on the shelves, things are starting to get back to normal. Even flour is starting to get back on the shelves. Toilet roll was back to normal weeks ago, and pasta and rice is more or less back to normal. There's a few gaps, but it's getting there. I think people have stopped panicking and they've realised we can still get the stuff. And even slots, if you order your groceries online, they're becoming easier to get. I do like Ocado, as you probably know, and I haven't been able to get slots recently, and you've had to wait in a long queue. But now I can get a slot for more or less when I want. But again, with Ocado, I've noticed no not many offers. Normally you can, oh sorry, light's gone out because it's battery operated. I've left all my lights on from doing this demo. So there's another light that's probably going to go out in a minute, but I think I suit dim lighting better than this glare that I'm sitting under. So what I don't like is there's a lot of people that are wagging their fingers at people when they see them going out, and there's a lot of hatred. You know, there's this two sides of a coin, isn't there? There's people reporting people doing good deeds during this time. Like I saw something on Facebook, there was an old man in a wheelchair trying to pay for his groceries at a supermarket, and his card was declined, and one of the supermarket employees just took his card out of his pocket, gave it to the cashier and said, I'll pay for it. So you're seeing things like that which are nice, but you're also seeing a lot of, it was described on a video I watched on YouTube, little Hitlers. That's not my term, but this is what somebody else described them as. But people just looking at their neighbours and seeing them going out and reporting them and stuff. Just don't. You know, I can't see anything wrong with going out more. Well, obviously we're told we can now, but going out more than once for some exercise. You can take your dog out more than once. Just observe what we're being told. 2 meters apart. You can still chat to folk. Keep 2 meters apart. I think a lot of people are getting fed up with it. Even I am. I'm coping with it because I'm very used to staying in and enjoying my own company. I'm lucky. I enjoy my own company. I do have the dogs. I don't know what it'd be like if I didn't have the dogs. But I've never, touch wood, I've never been lonely. My whole life I've never felt lonely because, and I don't want this to sound narcissistic or whatever that word is for self-love, but I enjoy my own company. I enjoy being with myself because I like myself. I mean, I don't love myself. Well, I suppose yeah, that does sound a bit odd. I do like myself. I can't imagine what it's like if you're not keen on your own company. How awful that must be if you have to have an external person, you know, something outside yourself to make you feel happy. That must be awful. If you can't live your life and be comfortable in your own skin. Obviously, I've got an awful lot of issues with myself, but I know myself better than anybody, and that's how it should be. There should be nobody else in this world that knows you like you know you. You know your faults, you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, and I do know. I mean, I'm not silly enough to think I'm absolutely wonderful and perfect, because I am far from it. And I do try to sort of, I police myself, I police my own actions, because even though I might shout at the television at somebody who I don't know, but who I perceive as being evil, I sometimes tell myself off and say, oh, no, that's not right. I mean, I was having a word with a lady who presents on QVC. I'm not going to say what I said, but I actually like this woman. I don't know her, but I have nothing, you know, I think she's a lovely lady. But I said something a bit risque, a bit naughty about this lady, and I thought, oh no, that's not right. Why are you saying this? You find this lady pleasant to watch. It's bizarre. But you do also, when you're alone, if you're in isolation, or if you live on your own, you obviously have a lot of time to think about things, unless you're trying to block out your inner voice with video games. Listen to me, old man. Video games. Are they still called video games? Anyway, you know, you're playing on your Atari or your whatever. No, I do have a PlayStation 4. It's been out of the box once and gone back in the box. Couldn't work it out. So some people might be just blocking out that inner voice with music, TV, entertainment, whatever, drinking, eating. But it's a good, I think, sometimes just to sit quietly, to have no background noise on at all. They call it meditation, don't they? But you don't have to do the old om and try and sit cross-legged. You can just squat or just sit calmly in the garden, if you're lucky enough to be able to have an outside space to sit in that's quiet. My stomach's rumbling. Just sit and listen to nature. Listen to the birds. I went for a walk with Mark this last week with the dogs, just up on the moor, quite okay for us to do it. It's within 10-15 minutes of us. We saw people, but obviously kept a distance. But just walking and just looking around at nature. And nature to me is perfect. It's spoilt a lot by man. Obviously we were surrounded by nature, but we can see buildings and cell phone towers and wind turbines, which I personally don't mind wind turbines because it's a clean form of energy, so they say. But just to be out in nature, or if you can get to the sea, walk by the sea, it's the most grounding and calming. I don't, whether you believe in a creator, in a god or whatever, I certainly do, because when you look at nature that's not been spoilt by man, nature is perfect. And to me, only a divine power, a divine source can create such perfection. And just being out there, just listening to nature, listening to the birds, listening to the wind in the trees, listening to the river going along, whatever a river does. It is, and that's why I love lake. I'll get teary. I'm missing the Lake District. But any nature, to me the Lake District is absolutely perfect. I just absolutely, whenever I think of the Lake District, I get teary-eyed. And if you want to see some of the trips I've been on, I do have a playlist of my Lake District walks and things. But you need to connect, especially in times like this. You need to connect with nature. If you live in a block of flats, if you live in a city, it's difficult. But if you've got a green space you can get to, and at the moment we are allowed now to get to a green space, as long as we keep our social distance, we are allowed there without the police coming along and saying, get off that bench, you're not allowed to sit on that bench, you're not allowed to have a picnic there, you're not allowed to get a bit of sun, you're not allowed to lie on the grass. How awful is that? That's happened to people. They've been moved on by the police. And I know, it's for your own good, yeah, but what's wrong with somebody going into a park and you're sitting on your own, there's no one near you? What's wrong with that? If they take that away from us, then there's no hope for humanity. I'll finish. I have been feeling a bit down, being overwhelmed by, and I'm not frightened of catching this coronavirus, because as I said before, I think I've had it. And even if I haven't and I get it, I'm not worried about, dying from it. Personally, I'm not in a vulnerable group. What I have been quite scared of is what the future is going to hold for us all. Because at the moment we think, oh well, some people might be enjoying the extra time off. Some people will be saying they want to stay locked down. They're getting 80% of their wages. They don't want to go back to work. Maybe they don't enjoy their job. They're quite happy staying at home on 80% wages. And they're saying, no, we don't want to go back to work. There are other people, obviously, that want to go back to work. And some that desperately need to go back to work because they can't afford to survive. And some aren't even getting paid. But I've lost what I was going with this. Yeah, so that's okay. Some people are coping. Some people aren't. But I think what people are thinking, well, when it's all over, it'll be back to normal. And there's this thing that I keep hearing time and time again, and I know you're hearing it in other countries as well, the new normal. That is what's worrying me. The new normal for me might not be much different to my life at the moment, but it might be considerably different for some people who enjoy going to the pub, who enjoy playing sports, all that palaver. But I'm just concerned with the future. What is this all about? Because, I'll say a controversial thing, I do think there is an agenda behind what's going on. I think there's always an agenda behind worldwide events, whether it be wars, pandemics, financial crashes. There's always some agenda, and we're in for a huge financial crash. It's happening now. People are going to lose their jobs, shops are going to be shut forever, factories are going to close. So that has been starting to consume me, but I've just started lifting myself out of that and not being fearful. Don't be fearful. We can't do anything about what's going to happen, but we certainly can do with how we react to what happens. But for the first time in my life, my bubble has been burst well and truly, and I'm a little bit fearful of the future. But getting out into nature, sitting quietly, contemplating, whether you want to meditate, call it meditation, or just sitting quietly and calming your inner voice and being nice to yourself and not thinking of what other people are doing. Don't get yourself het up over things you can't control. I did that a lot of my life. I got so worked up over petty things that other people were doing, and the only person that it was affecting was me. And as soon as you can let go of that, the better your life is. And I'm not trying to, this is what's worked for me, that's all I'm saying. But it's common sense. Don't worry that your neighbour's going out more than once or twice. You've just got to just let that go. Let it go. Let it go, let it go. That song. Never seen that film, never will. But I can't say what the best thing is for you to do. Obviously you should know. But just all I will say to end the video is just try and get out as much as you can, as much as you're allowed to go out. Get out into nature. If you live near the coast, get out on the beach, take your shoes and socks off and feel the earth beneath your feet. Even in a park, do it, obviously, dog poo permitting. And just, I will say, I'm not religious, but I believe in a God. I don't believe in having to go to church and do all those religious rituals. And, I went off Christianity after a few things I read about their Christians' view on homosexuality. That put me off religion. It didn't put me off feeling that we are part of a big creation, a creator. I still believe that. But I believe a lot of religion is man-made. So you can believe in an afterlife, you can believe in a creator, but you don't have to go to church or a mosque or a temple. But what I'll say to you to finish the video, for those people who are complete atheists, who don't believe that we were created or believe in the Big Bang theory, and it is a theory, the Big Bang, that everything we see was created out of a Big Bang, or whether our creator started a Big Bang and created everything, or what, we don't know. Nobody knows. That's the point. We don't know. But I do think when the poo-poo hits the fan, even the atheists will be praying to something. They'll be wetting themselves, they'll be cowering, and they'll be asking for help. Even atheists. And that's what I think. So it might be a good idea to try and get to know that person. Instead of introducing yourself, he or she or whatever knows you, but have a conversation before it's too late. That's all I'm saying. You can poo-poo me all you like, I don't care. But for me, I have a dialogue with somebody, I don't know who it is, and I'm always referring to this person. I chat to this person or entity, And I say, well, I don't know who you are, but you know me, and you know who I'm talking to. You're at the advantage. You know, I don't know, but I'm talking. Start having a dialogue in your head. You don't have to speak out loud. Who knows, it might help. I feel I'm certainly a lot more spiritual than I used to be. I'm a very materialistic person, which doesn't go with spirituality, that's for sure. But it's always good to have an internal dialogue with whoever you want to speak to, whether it's a 6-foot rabbit or someone or something or whatever. We don't know. But yeah, don't leave it till it's too late. That's all I'm saying. And if there is no God or creator and you die and you just end up completely as nothing, when you die, that's it. You don't have a soul, nothing lives on. If that's the case, then that's the case. You're not going to feel silly if you've had an internal dialogue with your creator, because the only person who knows about it is you. So if we all end up just dust and nothingness, who's it going to harm? But for me, I think it comforts me just to have a conversation with whoever, because I think we know nothing. We know nothing, as Manuel. That's something. Just before I go, watch a lot of comedy. If you like comedy, especially, I've been watching Fawlty Towers, Birds of a Feather, even The Golden Girls was on recently, and just watching stuff like that you enjoy. Schitt's Creek, I'm still loving the Schitt's Creek, and the new series for the UK starts this Thursday, so I've been watching them all again. Watch things that bring you joy, listen to music that brings you joy, do things that brings you joy. Just bring joy into your life, especially at this ridiculous, people are saying difficult times. It is difficult and it's ridiculous and it's scary. But do whatever you can to make your world a little bit happier and a little bit calmer. That's my advice to you. Take it or leave it. So that's it. Yeah, a quick 5 minutes video. I can't feel my legs now. A quick 5 minute videos turn into whatever long it is. But I thought I better check in with you, because I've really just sort of left this channel to fester. That's not the right word. I've left it on furlough, to use a current term. But I thought, well, I better say hello. I haven't forgotten about this channel. I will be back. I'll just try and get some videos edited. I just haven't had the willpower is not the motivation. I haven't had the motivation to get these videos edited. That I've got so much to do, but I will hopefully get there. So in the meantime, stay safe, stay calm, stay grounded, and try and make the best of the situation that you're in, whatever it is. I'm coming from a place I'm very, very lucky, luckier than a lot of people. So it's all very well for me just to spout off, do this, do that, because I don't know everyone's individual circumstances who would watch this video. But there are things you can do, in no matter what your circumstances are, internally within yourself, you know. But have a little calm, have a little peace, just sit in silence and ask for help, whether it be help from people around you if you can get help, or pray. There we go, I'll end the video. Whether you believe in prayer, whether you believe anybody will hear you, what harm is it going to do you to sit quietly on your own? Either speak out loud, you don't have to kneel down, just sit and just speak calmly and think there may be someone, something that listens and helps even speaking something out loud, even in your head, can help things to improve. Honestly, it's not mumbo jumbo. I've done it myself. That's why I'm saying to you, advising, trying to help. Just don't be angry. Just, you know, sometimes when you have to be angry, of course, but just pray. That's all I'm saying. If you've never prayed before, it might be a new experience. I'm not going to turn into a happy clappy, you know, God botherer is what we used to call them. People used to come round to your house and ask you if are you friends with Jesus, you know. I'm not suggesting that, but have a word with whoever in your head. Just see if it helps you. If it doesn't, well, it hasn't, but it's helped me. That's all I'm saying. It's helped me in my life, even at some of my lowest moments. It can help. Or just bawl your eyes out and have a good cry, because that also helps as well. Right, that's it. A very quick video. As I said, I knew it'd turn into a long diatribe, but there we go. That's me. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching me kneeling down, my legs going to sleep, and I'll be back at some point. Can't say when, but we'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Bye for now. Look after yourself, and hopefully I'll see you soon.